the Jace Memory Death main. And, you know, the only issue I have with this deck is that I find if you're not Reed Duke, it's incredibly difficult to win with it.
All right, players, stand over.
I think that's relatively accurate. You know, like
I mean, it's just like it hasn't had as much success as you would expect, given the number of good players that have played it at Grand Prix.
Sure.
But you know,
Reed's the only one.
Reed's the only one. So let's see what happens here.
And on the left, we have Matthew Long playing Bant Hexproof, the deck that obviously just won the last Grand Prix in Atlantic City. And if taking a look at his deck list, this is like an exact copy of what did well, almost directly to the sideboard as well. So we know that the Bant control deck was a deck that was very, very popular, you know, a month or two ago, and this Bant Hexproof deck is kind of the new hotness. So let's see what's going to take it down here as we have Pilgrim plus Stalka.
Did he not play turn 2 Geist the same turn? I thought he had a Geist in his hand.
Well, I mean, we'll see.
We'll, you know.
Actually, I see a Geist now.
I thought he had it in his hand the whole time. Not sure what his thought process was there.
Maybe play around Syncopate?
The
the only thing I can really think of?
I guess. I don't know why you play around Syncopate there, but
as we do see an abundant growth here from Matthew, puts it on the Hinterland Harbor. David, as you can see in his mana base, he currently does not have any white mana, so he does have some copies of Supreme Verdict in his deck 4 along with 1 Terminus, and he's not going to be able to cast that next turn. So maybe on turn 5, and you see Temple Garden coming to play untapped here.
I mean, you see, the problem is now Dave has access to Dissipate,
Yeah.
which is definitely a counterspell that Band Control has, not Syncopate. So
he doesn't have it right now. So Spectral Flight on the Invisible Stalker. You're going to see one of those copies of Think Twice here. Get David a new card.
I think David actually does have the Dissipate. He just doesn't care. I think he's fine with letting it resolve. He wants to draw lands to try to get to Supreme Verdict, which doesn't look like it's happening.
I don't think he's drawing lands, and he does not play one either. So he's going to have to pass the turn back. Shields are down here, so we could see an increasing Savagery or something else insane right now from Matthew. See if he can take advantage of this.
I mean, he should definitely play the Geist now.
Absolutely.
Dave has no access to Supreme Verdict next turn. He can't counter it. He doesn't have to worry about the mystery Syncopate that he played around earlier, so get the Geist out there. Let's close this game out fast.
You see a Cavernous Souls and a Geist Saint Trapped in his hand. And there it is.
There we go. I think people overthink things sometimes. It's like, your deck does one thing. It casts Geist Saint Trapped. Just do it. Yeah, and then
David
doesn't bother. David knows his deck needs time to win. There's no way you could probably win from this situation, so let's just go to game 2.
That was a fast game 1. Jeez.
Well, you know, Geist ends games quickly, you know?
That's true. I mean, we haven't, unless it's mono red, we don't have game 1s that fast normally here on the camera. But I mean, Geist, as you said, does end games relatively fast. So I know you have David's deck list in front of you. He's on the play this game. He got crushed that game.
Yeah.
Does he have a lot of things to turn this around?
He has 2 more Terminus he can bring in. He has Faith Mender. Not sure he's going to bring in the Dispel. Maybe the Negate to stop some Planeswalkers that Matt might have. But mostly, I'd imagine it's basically just a Detention Sphere, Restoration Angel, and Terminus and Faith Mender.
All right, well, taking a look over here at Matt's deck, as he is up a game, very lopsided game that we just played there. We have 1 copy of Negate. We also have a copy of Dispel here. Maybe those cards are too exciting, obviously, with Supreme Verdict being the way that he's going to get the hexproof cards off of the board. 4 copies of Strangle Guys, which I think are almost certainly going to join us, obviously, to trump the Supreme Verdict. 2 copies of Nearhearth Pilgrim, not so much here, more for a mono red. 2 copies of Feeling Dread, 2 copies of Rest in Peace, and 3 copies of Nevermore. Nevermore, an interesting card, the Enchantment Meddling Mage. I think almost certainly going to come in here, probably just to name Supreme Verdict, first and foremost.
Yeah, I mean, you can't counter Supreme Verdict, but Nevermore does a good job of stopping it. And Dave doesn't have a lot of good answers outside of Wrath effects to cards like Geist or Invisible Stalker with a Rancor on it. So Nevermore in combination with cards like Negate can really help Matthew sort of lock up the board state and make sure that Wrath effects don't play a role. Basically, if Matt gets a Nevermore in play naming Supreme Verdict, Dave's going to be all in on Terminus. which is fine. I mean, he's going to have 3 Terminuses in the sideboard, but it's going to be rough if that's the only Wrath effect that he has access to.
So do you think that just, let's say that Matthew draws Nevermore for turn 3, is it just always going to... Is there... I'm trying to think of a situation where he's not going to name Supreme Verdict. I'm trying to think of the other card that he would potentially name, which is like, I suppose Sphinx Revelation, maybe Thragtusk in a different situation, but this is mostly there to name Verdict.
I would guess so. I think that's the first thing he names. He has 1 Negate and 1 Dispel, so he doesn't have a lot of answers to Sphinx Revelation, but his deck, his deck is all about pants. Yep. And attacking with 1 creature, and Dave's only answers to that really is Wrath Effect. So the cheapest and the 1 Wrath Effect that Matt can't stop is Supreme Verdict. So my guess is that's the first card he's usually going to name.
We do see both players taking a look at their 7 cards here. Dave is going to keep, and he's going to lead off with Temple Garden. Matthew keeps his. You see a Forest, and you see an Abundant Growth. Fisting his mana and drawing him a card. And Dave is going to go down to 18 with Hollow Fountain. Are we going to see a Farseek, actually? We are. So, mana not going to be an issue this game.
And he kept the Jason in this matchup, which is interesting. I would have expected him maybe to board that one out.
We're going to see him search for another Hollow Fountain here. So it looks like his mana is online, assuming he has at least 1 more land in his hand.
Yeah, and Matt has a Strangler guy. So if Dave has a Faith Manager, then he's in really good shape.
Matthew going to take a draw step here. Draws Geist to St. Trapped for the turn. You're going to see a Hallowed Fountain, and Strangler Geist is something he is not going to be able to cast right now. And this is one of the things that is like a problem with this deck, is you're going to see Invisible Stalker. Its mana's pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have Breeding Pool yet, so you're going to have these awkward draws where you're not going to be able to cast Strangler Geist, or you're not going to be able to cast Geist on turn 3 sometimes. But, it's a gamble you take, and I think the deck does enough powerful things that it's worth it. It's basically the same deck that Star City Games Black played at Pro Tour Barcelona,
Kind of have the same issues.
Same issues with mana, except you didn't have Hollow Fountain in Temple.
We do see Invisible Stalker in play here for Matthew. He does have Geist of St. Trapped looming, as David just played an Overrun to him and said go. Representing, as we see Nevermore here, representing Supreme Verdict, and we'll see if Nevermore is going to get the chance to name that, but you're going to see it dissipate here. So Stalker just comes across for 1, and we go back to David's turn, and we are going to see Jace Memory Nest. Okay. And he's just going to go... Okay, so he's going to activate Jace, mill a Rancor, and draw a card. I'm a little bit surprised to see that in here as well. It's a different avenue of victory, but I'm a little bit surprised to see it against this hyper-aggressive deck.
Yeah, I mean, Matt has the ability to kill it right now with Rancor and Ethereal Armor.
Yeah.
We'll see if that's what he does. My guess is yes. But
you see Abundant Growth here on the Forest.
It's odd that he would put it on the Forest.
Now you're going to see a Rancor, and you're going to see Ethereal Armor too. Is he going to ignore Jace or go straight for it? That's the question.
I wouldn't want Dave drawing cards. But, yeah, looks like he ignores the Jace.
Matthew disagrees with you, and Jace is going to draw some cards. Going to turn over an Ethereal Armor. Dave going to draw a card. And the race is on here. Can David find what he needs to get himself out of this situation?
Well, the good thing is that Matt has a Strangler Geist in his hand, so even after Supreme Verdict or Terminus, he has a pretty good follow-up. He also has a Silverblade Paladin.
As we are going to see a Thragtusk here from David, going to push him back up to 15. He does have that Silverblade Paladin, which he did mention, which is...
And this could do a lot of damage right here.
There's your Forest. Here comes your Silverblade. Yep. Facebook relationship has changed.
Dropping Dave now to 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh no, much more because of the Theory Armor. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that's a lot. Wow.
So he's down at 1, and he has a Strangle Geist as a follow-up to Terminus anyway.
Yeah, I forgot about those. The Ethereal Armor with Abundant Growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why actually. Yeah, I wasn't counting that. Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely right to ignore the Jace.
So let's see. We're going to see Think Twice. So Terminus. You see Azorius Charm there. And he actually does draw Terminus. What he doesn't have is a 6th land. Wow, wow, wow. You see Azorius Charm there.
Could gain 5 life. And give his guy lifelink. It's that ethereal armor though.
Yeah, you can't erase that. And as long as our life totals are correct, David being at 1 life is what we think he's at from that attack last turn.
Yeah, is David at 1 life? Can we confirm that?
Yeah. Okay, so we do have him at 1. I'm not sure what he can do to get himself out of this, unless I'm missing something. As we're gonna see.
I think Matt's safest play is just attacking with Invisible Stalker.
I think what David's probably gonna try to do here is flashback Think Twice and hope to Terminus. That's probably what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, he doesn't really have another option.
I don't think he has any other option right now.
Which is a shame. If he didn't main phase Think Twice, he would have actually.
Yeah, we would have hit. Yeah. So here's your flashback on Think Twice, and here's your Defiant Dry Yard, and here's a concession. Matthew Long, in 2 very fast games, wins with the Bant Hexproof deck over David Thomas in his Bant Control deck 2-0, and what felt pretty lopsided, actually.
And but you would pretty much expect those matchups to go that way. I mean, I don't. Geist is a great card, has always been a great card against Bant.